as you speak, I'm also thinking like, I feel like everybody, maybe including myself, is always in a state of some kind of stress of like, I got to get here, or I got to do this, or I can't believe this happened to me. And I'm like, as you're talking, I'm like, holy smokes, I feel like maybe everybody's being traumatized at all times. That's
Yeah.
kind of scary.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the modern world. Everything about it is unbiological. I mean, from the way that we work to the way that we have children to the way that we raise those children. I mean, most people are so disconnected, dysregulated. You know, they were born to parents who had to work, who put them in daycare, who gave them formula. You know what I mean? Like they didn't even biological. So many people just have this underlying, existence fear. They're just like, I don't even know why I'm here because, and again, how did were their parents ready to conceive them? The conscious conception piece is a very big deal. If you are, not ready to have a child and you have one, or you're like having questions about it, and that child gets kind of programmed with this, do I even belong here? Am I even, and so stuff runs very, very deep. And yeah, most people are running, 8 to 10 biological programs and have like all these conflict themes that are kind of like your pet conflicts that you continually go back to, whether it's, separation or indigestible morsel, self-devaluation, bite conflicts. Like, what's your thing? Do you have vision problems? Is it teeth problems? Is it ear problems? Is it, the sexual type of conflicts? If you're having, outbreaks and herpes and UTIs, it's like, okay, they all have different threads, different themes, different life situations that bring them on. But, your health history tells a story of everything you went through. Like if you had asthma as a kid, we know that you were scared. You had a scare fright, territorial fear, something scary was going on in your home. If you had, chronic digestive problems or something you could not digest, something that made you angry, something you couldn't process. And so every symptom tells us so much about your psyche, your experience, and this map can help us to, unearth, figure out, pull the thread. What is this really about? And is there can I find a resolution to this? Can I change my experience? A conflict is resolved when it can't happen again. When you look at it, this is why, kids, for example, will grow out of certain symptoms like asthma. Let's say, a kid who had a territorial fear conflict, because they got grounded and they were afraid, of their parents yelling at them and, doors slamming. They had a scare fright, so they had this asthma. And when they, turned 18 and they went to college and they're out there, they're like, oh, I don't have to be afraid of my parents grounding me anymore. And then nothing, or, getting my stuff taken away. It's like, I'm an adult now. That's just a natural resolution. You're like, yeah, I used to have asthma, but I just don't anymore. It's like, well, that's why, because you're not in that phase of life anymore. That conflict can't happen again. It's and it's so unique, so there's not like this is how you resolve every conflict. So that's how some people will get a little kind of like hung up on the GNM thing, and they'll be like, well, I don't know how to solve it. It's like, well, this does take, a depth of self-knowledge, self-awareness, paying attention, getting yourself in this very curious dot connecting mode where you can see how do you react to stuff now? Because a lot of conflicts, we just forget them. And they happened very early on. And we do have to get to like, when was the first time you felt this feeling? When was the first time you felt rejected? When was the first time that you were, terrified or shocked? Because that's when the program turned on. And that's the thing that we need to, get to the place of complete relief about, the conflict, like it's resolved when it can't happen again, or you can laugh about it. And so that's where the perception change. If I can laugh about what happened, if I can see how silly it was and how limited it was and how, it's no longer affecting me in my life, that also can cause, one of my mentors uses this phrase, the stone to drop from your soul. That's the resolution. That is, I'm no longer scared, upset, worried, uncertain about this situation. I've resolved it.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
If you believe more constructive information like this should be out there for people to know, please leave a like on this video. And if you're a person who's into self-development in all aspects of their life, please subscribe, because that is what we do here at Good Demand. Keep demanding good things. And if you haven't bought a pair of our Good Night Blue Blockers and you use a phone at night or an iPad or TV at night, please consider buying a pair of these. They're beautiful and they work so well and they help support our growth.